The morning began like any other day. Cities woke up with noise. People rushed to work, and children played in the streets. But no one looked up. No one noticed the sky changing color. A deep red hue spread across the clouds like spilled blood. Then the sound came. A low hum, so powerful that windows trembled and birds fell from the air. In the middle of New York, a boy named Ryan looked up and froze. Above the skyscrapers, huge dark shapes were moving behind the clouds. They looked like mountains floating in the sky. Within minutes, every television, phone, and radio went silent. Then came a voice, deep and mechanical, echoing across the world. "This planet belongs to us now." The voice wasn't human. It didn't speak any known language, but somehow everyone understood it. Panic spread faster than fire. Cars crashed, people screamed, and military jets flew into the air, but it was too late. The invasion had already begun. The alien ships opened like massive flowers made of metal. From their centers, beams of blue light fell to the ground and wherever they touched. Everything vanished, buildings, roads, people, nothing remained, but shadows burned into the ground. Ryan ran into his apartment building, calling for his mother, but there was only silence. All over the world, humans fought back. Missiles were launched, fighter jets attacked the alien ships, but their weapons were useless. The alien shields were invisible and unbreakable. One by one, the cities fell. Washington, London, Tokyo. Moscow all burned in the sky's red light, in a hidden base under the Rocky Mountains. A small group of scientists and soldiers gathered. Among them was Captain Sarah Kane. She watched the world falling apart on a holographic screen. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were cold. "They came for us," she said. "Now we fight for what's left." The scientists had been studying strange signals from space for years. They had warned the governments, but no one listened. Now it was too late. The only plan left was called Project Exodus's secret mission, to take humanity's war beyond Earth. While the world burned, Sarah gave her order. "Prepare the ships. We launch in 72 hours." Orion, who had lost everything, wandered through the ruins of his city. The air was filled with ash and silence. He found a small radio still working and heard a voice, a human voice. "This is the United Earth Resistance. If anyone can hear this, move to the safe zone at Pier 47. Ryan decided to go. He didn't know what waited there, but he had nothing left to lose. On his way, he saw others like him, survivors, broken but alive. Some carried weapons, others just hope. They were not soldiers, but they were ready to fight. At Pier 47, a group of soldiers guarded a steel platform leading to an underground tunnel. The sky above them was dark and full of alien lights. Sarah Kane stood there, watching the survivors gather. She saw Ryan among them and asked, "You alone?" He nodded. "Then you're one of us now," she said. The ground shook as another alien beam hit the ocean. Water exploded into steam, and the soldiers rushed everyone inside. The tunnel door closed, and the world above turned into fire. Inside the base, Ryan saw what no one had seen before: massive ships being built by human hands. They were rough, unpolished, but powerful. Engines glowed with blue light. On their sides were painted two words: Human Fleet. Sarah looked at the ships and spoke quietly, calm like a promise. "They think we will hide. They think we will die here. But they don't know what humans do when they are cornered." She turned to the control panel and pressed her hand against a scanner. "We are not just defending Earth," she said. "We are taking the fight to them, above the planet." The alien ships moved slowly through the smoke-filled sky, unaware that deep below, humanity was preparing its greatest revenge. And somewhere, among the ruins, a strange light blinked, a piece of alien tech left behind. Recording everything, it pulsed once, as if alive. The invasion of Earth had begun. But soon, something far greater would start. Humanity was not done yet. Humanity was planning to invade back. 3 days passed under the Earth. The survivors could no longer hear the bombs or see the red skies, but everyone knew the war above had not ended. It had only become silent. Deep inside the mountain base, Engineers worked without sleep. Sparks flew from machines, engines roared, and every corner smelled of metal and fuel. Humanity was building its last hope. Captain Sarah Kane walked through the tunnels, her boots echoing on the steel floor. Around her, soldiers trained in small groups. They were tired, but determined. Each of them had lost someone, yet no one spoke of grief. They only spoke of revenge. In the command room, Dr. Patel, the lead scientist of Project Exodus, stood in front of a glowing screen. He turned when Sarah entered. "The first ship is ready," he said, "but we don't know if it can survive in space for long." Sarah looked at the image of the ship on the screen. It was huge and rough, like a floating fortress. "It doesn't have to survive," she said quietly. "It only has to fight." The ship was named the Dawnbreaker. It was made from old space station parts and new alien tech stolen from wreckage. It carried nuclear weapons, plasma cannons, and the courage of the last humans. When the engine started for the first time, the walls shook. Everyone in the base stopped and listened. The sound was not just power, it was hope. Ryan stood near the launch bay, staring at the massive machine. He had joined the maintenance crew, doing whatever small work he could. He still felt like a boy lost in chaos, but when he looked at the ship, something inside him changed. Maybe humans could win. Maybe this wasn't the end. That night, Sarah gathered the entire base. She stood on a platform above them and spoke with a strong, clear voice. "They came to our home. They burned our cities. They called us weak. But they made one mistake. They forgot what it means to be human. We adapt. We fight. And now we take the fight to them." The crowd shouted as one. The air filled with a sound that no alien machine could ever create, the sound of human will. Moments later, the launch alarm began to ring. The tunnel doors opened, and the ground above split apart like a wound. The Dawnbreaker rose on a tower of fire, pushing through the smoke toward the dark sky. Everyone watched as the first human warship left Earth. Outside the atmosphere, the ship shook violently, but the engines held. Ryan, now part of the ground crew watching from screens, cheered with the others. For the first time in months, humans had left the planet not to escape, but to fight back. However, Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would not stay silent for long. Hours later, the ship sent its first transmission from orbit. "Captain Kane, we made it," said Commander Holt from the Dawnbreaker. "We can see them. There are hundreds of alien ships above the dark side of the moon." Sarah's heart pounded. She had expected it, but hearing it made everything real. The enemy was building something massive near the Moona Gateway. Maybe a factory, no one knew. But it was clear that Earth was only their first target. "Prepare the fleet," Sarah ordered. "Every ship we have. We are going to the moon." Down below, Ryan and the others worked faster than ever. More ships were being built: the Valkyrie, the Ironheart, and the Spear of Dawn. They didn't look perfect, but each one carried a piece of Earth inside a tall flag, a memory, a reason to fight, as days turned into weeks. The base became a city of light under the mountain. Humanity was waking up again. Then one night, alarms screamed through the tunnels. The alien sensors had found them. Blue lights cut through the sky outside, and explosions shook the ground. The invasion had reached even underground. Sarah grabbed a communicator. "All crews launch. Now. Protect the civilians." The hangars opened, and ships shot out one after another, fire trailing behind them. The mountain cracked as alien drones poured through the air. Ryan helped people into transport pods, then ran toward a small fighter jet. A voice yelled behind him. "You can't fly that thing." "I'll learn fast," he said, and jumped in. Outside, the night sky became a battlefield. The first human fleet fought for its birth, metal against energy, courage against fear. Alien beams tore through the clouds, but the human ships kept going. Breaking through the atmosphere one by one, as Ryan's small fighter followed the last ship out of Earth, he looked down. The planet was burning, but it was still beautiful. He whispered, "We'll be back." High above, the Dawnbreaker led the way toward the moon, where the real war waited. Humanity had lost their world, but not their spirit. The invasion had changed everything. For the first time in history, it wasn't just Earth being invaded. Humanity was about to invade back. The human fleet rose through the darkness of space, a line of burning lights behind them. Engines glowed blue against the black sky. Below them, Earth burned quietly. From this distance, it looked peaceful, like nothing had ever happened. But everyone on board knew the truth. Their home was dying. Captain Sarah Kane stood on the command deck of the Dawnbreaker. Around her, the crew worked fast, voices sharp and steady. "Radar contact," one of them said. "Multiple signals near lunar orbit. At least 200 alien ships." Sarah's face didn't change. "Good," she said. "Let's knock on their door." Alien ships were massive, shaped like blades of glass. They floated near the dark side of the moon, protecting a strange structure that looked like a ring of fire. Dr. Patel, watching from the command center back on Earth, identified it. "That's not a base," he said over the comms. "It's a gateway. They're building a portal." Sarah narrowed her eyes. "A portal to where?" "To bring more of them," he replied quietly. The room fell silent. Everyone understood. If the aliens finished that gate, the war would be over before it truly began. Earth would be wiped from existence. "Then we stop them," Sarah said. The human ships formed a line. The Dawnbreaker led the way, followed by the Valkyrie Ironheart and Spear of Dawn. Each one was armed with weapons made from both human and alien technology. It was risky, but they had no choice. "Arm all plasma cannons," Sarah ordered. "Target their power nodes. And remember, aim for the heart." Far behind, Ryan sat in his small fighter, his hands shaking on the controls. The stars glittered all around him. His ship's name ghost, one flashed on the screen. He could hear the chatter of other pilots through the radio. Voices filled with fear and courage. "Ghost Squadron, follow my lead," said Commander Holt from the Dawnbreaker. "Let's make them bleed." The first human attack began. Missiles streaked across space, leaving white trails behind them. Explosions lit the sky like fireworks. Alien ships turned to face them, and beams of blue light cut through the darkness. The battle for the moon had begun. Ryan flew between debris, dodging energy blasts. He had never flown in combat before, but his instincts guided him. He shot down a small alien drone, then another. "Two down," he said, his voice trembling. "Stay sharp," Holt replied. "They're regrouping." On the Dawnbreaker, Sarah watched the fight unfold on her screen. Human ships were brave, but outnumbered. The aliens moved like machines, perfect and cold. "Focus fire on the gateway," she shouted. "All ships, concentrate." The Valkyrie moved closer, firing its plasma cannons directly at the glowing ring on the moon's surface. The impact shook the structure, and part of it broke apart. A huge explosion followed, sending pieces of molten rock into space. Cheers filled the human comms. But the victory didn't last. A giant alien ship moved from behind the moon. It was bigger than any seen before, twice the size of a city. Its surface shimmered with strange energy symbols. "What is that?" Ryan whispered. Dr. Patel's voice came over the radio. "That's their command vessel. It controls the entire fleet." Sarah clenched her fists. "Then that's our target." The alien mothership fired a single beam, and the Valkyrie vanished instantly. The entire ship turned into dust. The humans fell silent. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, then spoke. "No retreat. We fight." Ryan's fighter shook as shockwaves passed through space. He dodged another beam and locked onto the mothership. "Captain Kane, I can see a weak spot," he said. "Near the center, something glowing." "Copy that," she said. "Mark it for missiles." Targeted it, lasers locking in place, but before he could fire, something hit his ship. The control panel sparked, alarms screamed, and he began to spin. "I'm hit. I'm losing control." "Ghost 1, eject," Holt yelled. Ryan's ship spiraled toward the moon. He pulled the eject lever just in time, shooting out into space. His body floated toward the moon's surface as fire from the battle reflected in his helmet. The last thing he saw before hitting the ground was the gateway beginning to glow again, brighter than ever. On the Dawnbreaker, Sarah saw it too. The ring was activating. A giant beam of red light shot from its center into space. "They're opening the portal," someone shouted. Sarah stared at it, her voice calm but filled with steel. "Then we go through it." The entire bridge fell silent. "Captain, that's suicide." "Maybe," she said. "But if they're bringing more ships, we stop them at the source. Humanity doesn't wait to die, we strike first." The Dawnbreaker turned toward the glowing portal. Engines roared, shields flared, and the remaining ships followed. Behind them, Earth hung in the distance, a small blue light in the void. Ahead of them, the portal pulsed like a living eye. Waiting as the fleet entered the light, the universe twisted around them. Everything went white. The human fleet disappeared into the unknown, chasing their enemy across the stars, and on the moon's surface, Ryan opened his eyes. He was alive, surrounded by alien ruins and a strange shadow moving toward him. Humanity had left for war, but he was still here, alone, watching the sky tear apart. The invasion of Earth had ended. The invasion of the galaxy had just begun. The light swallowed everything. For a few endless seconds, no one could see or breathe. Then the stars appeared again, but these were not the stars of Earth. The human fleet had crossed the portal. What they saw took their breath away. The Dawnbreaker floated in a vast red nebula. Around them were hundreds of planets glowing like embers. In the distance, they could see giant structured cities floating in space, connected by shining bridges of energy. The alien homeworld was not one planet. It was an entire system built by machines. Captain Sarah Kane looked out from the viewing deck. "So this is where they came from," she whispered. "A world without sunlight. Or mercy." Commander Holt checked the radar. "No sign of pursuit yet," he said. "But we're not alone. There's movement near the largest station." Sarah nodded. "Let's find out what they're hiding." Meanwhile, far behind on the moon's surface, Ryan slowly opened his eyes. His helmet visor was cracked, but he was alive. His small parachute had caught on a piece of broken alien metal, stopping his fall. Around him, the battlefield was silent. Smoke rose from the ruins, and pieces of alien ships burned quietly. He tried to move, but pain shot through his leg. Still, he crawled toward the wreckage of his fighter. Inside the twisted metal, a small communication beacon still blinked. He pressed it. "This is Ryan." "Ghost One. Anyone copy?" Static answered him. No voice came. He looked up at the dark sky. The human fleet was gone, lost in the light of the portal. He was alone on the moon, surrounded by alien remains, and something else. He heard a sound. A slow, metallic step. Then another. Out of the dust came a tall figure. It wasn't fully alien, but it wasn't human either. Its body was part flesh, part machine. Its eyes glowed faint blue. "Who are you?" Ryan whispered. The figure tilted its head. "Not your enemy," it said. Its voice was half human. "I was once like you. Before they took me?" Ryan froze. "You mean the aliens?" The figure nodded slowly. "They call themselves the Seraphim. They do not invade for land. They invade for survival." Ryan didn't understand. "What does that mean?" The figure looked up at the sky. "You will see soon enough. Your people are walking into their nest." Back through the portal, the Dawnbreaker and the rest of the fleet moved closer to the alien structures. Massive towers glowed with strange blue light. Some of them looked like living organisms. Every scanner showed energy readings, higher than anything humans had seen before. Dr. Patel's voice came through the transmission from Earth. "We're losing your signal, Captain." "What's happening on the other side?" Sarah replied. "We found their system. Sending visuals now." But before the data could transmit, a sudden wave of energy hit the ships. Lights flickered, engines roared, alarms screamed. "We're being scanned," Holt shouted. "They know we're here." A massive alien fortress came to life. Dozens of ships emerged from its surface, their wings sharp as blades. The alien voice returned, echoing through the coms. "You should have stayed on your dying world. All weapons, fire." The battle began again, but this time in alien space. Missiles and plasma lit the red clouds. Human ships fought with everything they had. The Dawnbreaker's cannons burned through 2 enemy vessels before taking a hit to its side, shields failing. Someone yelled, "Hold the line," Sarah ordered. "Protect the Ironheart." The humans fought bravely, but they were outnumbered 10-1. Then Holt shouted, "Captain, there's something under USA planet-sized structure." Sarah looked at the readings. It wasn't a planet. It was alive. The entire system was built around a living organism, a creature the size of a moon, sleeping beneath the stations. Dr. Patel's weak voice came through again. "Captain, it's not just a homeworld. It's a hive. They live inside it." The realization hit everyone. The Seraphim were not just machines. They were connected to one giant mind. A living intelligence that ruled them all. Sarah made a quick decision. "Set a course straight for it." "Captain, that's suicide." Holt shouted. She looked at him. "Maybe, but if we destroy that thing, we end the war." The Dawnbreaker turned sharply, diving toward the glowing planet-like hive. Alien ships chased them, firing relentlessly. The human fleet followed, covering them as best they could. One by one, the smaller ships fell behind, but none turned back. Inside the hive, the creature's eye began to open, a massive red light spreading across its surface. The alien voice echoed again. "You do not understand. You are not fighting an enemy. You are fighting your future." Sarah gritted her teeth. "Then we'll rewrite it. Arm the core bomb. Prepare for manual detonation." The ship descended deeper into the glowing light. The walls around them pulsed like veins. Sarah looked once at the Earth's image on her screen. "For home," she whispered, and somewhere far away on the moon, Ryan looked up at the same sky. Unaware that the war had already crossed beyond the stars, the Dawnbreaker disappeared into the heart of the alien hive. Silence followed. Then the stars flickered. The Dawnbreaker fell through red clouds and lightning as it entered the alien hive. The air inside space itself seemed alive, glowing with strange energy. The ship's metal walls vibrated like a heartbeat. Every light flickered as if the hive was watching them. Captain Sarah Kane stood on the bridge, holding on to the railing. Around her, the crew looked pale but ready. "Status report," she said. "Engine stable," Commander Holt replied. "But gravity is changing. It's like the ship is being pulled inside." Sarah looked at the holographic map. The hive was a maze of tunnels and pulsing lights, each leading deeper to its core. "That's where we go," she said quietly. "To its heart?" Outside, alien creatures swam through the glowing mists, some organic. Their movements were slow and graceful, almost beautiful. But when the Dawnbreaker passed near them, they turned, eyes burning bright. "Contact incoming," shouted a gunner. The ship shook as plasma bolts hit its side. "Return fire," Sarah ordered. The cannons roared, lighting up the dark tunnels. The aliens exploded into clouds of fire and dust, but more appeared behind them. "They're endless." Holt shouted. "Then we keep going," she said. "The bomb must reach the core." Far away on the moon, Ryan watched the sky glowing faint red. He didn't know what was happening on the other side of the portal, but he felt it in his chest. The war was reaching its end. The strange hybrid being who had found him now stood beside him. "Silent," Ryan finally asked. "You said they invade for survival? What did you mean?" The being looked at him, its voice low and metallic. "The Seraphim were dying long before they found Earth. Their world was collapsing. They needed a new body to live in. So they looked for one. In you." Ryan's eyes widened. "In us. They want to merge," the creature said. "They see humans as the next step of their evolution. That's why they didn't destroy your planet instantly. They were preparing to remake it." Ryan stared at the stars. "Then we can't just win. We have to stop them completely." The being nodded slowly. "There is a way. But it will cost you." Back in the hive, the Dawnbreaker reached a massive chamber. It was bigger than any human city. The walls pulsed with red veins of light. At its center floated a sphere of energy the size of a mountain. It was alive, breathing, beating. The heart of the hive. Sarah stared at it through the glass. "That's it," she whispered. "The source of their power." "Bomb ready," Holt said. "Once we arm it, there's no going back." Sarah took a breath. "Do it." The crew began preparing the core Bama weapon strong enough to destroy a planet. It glowed bright blue as it armed itself. But then the alien voice filled the ship again. "You do not understand, human. You destroy us, you destroy yourselves." The ship trembled. A projection appeared in front of them, an alien figure made of light. It had no mouth, no eyes, but its presence filled the air. "We gave you technology. You've built weapons with our gifts. You used them to kill your own. We came to correct your path." Sarah clenched her fists. "We don't need correction. We need freedom." The alien voice grew colder. "You call it freedom. We call it chaos." Suddenly, energy beams pierced the ship. Alarms screamed. "Hull breach." Someone yelled. Smoke filled the bridge. Sarah fell, blood on her forehead, but she forced herself up. "Finish the countdown." The crew worked fast, but the controls sparked overloaded. It stuck. Manual detonation only. Sarah knew what that meant. Someone had to stay behind. She looked around at her exhausted crew, at the people who had followed her into hell. Then she smiled faintly. "Get to the escape pods." "That's an order." Holt shook his head. "Captain, that's an order." She shouted. Reluctantly, the crew ran. Sarah stood alone on the bridge, the glowing bomb beside her. The alien voice spoke one last time. "Why fight us? You could become gods." Sarah looked up at the red light filling the sky. "Because we're human, and that's enough." She pressed the switch. A flash of blue light consumed everything. The hive screamed a sound that shook the stars. The energy sphere imploded, and a wave of light tore through the alien system. Every Seraphim ship, every structure, every machine fell silent. The red nebula dimmed. On the moon, Ryan fell to his knees as the light passed over him. The hybrid beside him whispered, "It is done." Ryan looked up. She did it. But the creature shook its head. "No, the war is not over. You have killed the hive. But something survived." Ryan frowned. "What do you mean?" The creature pointed toward the sky. The red glow of the portal began to open again, slowly, painfully. "She awakened something older than the Seraphim," it said. "Now, it's coming." Ryan stood staring at the burning sky. He felt fear, but also resolve. Humanity had crossed one border. Now they had to face what waited beyond. The stars began to move, twisting like living eyes. The universe was waking up, and humanity was no longer the smallest force in it. The moon was quiet again, but the silence didn't last. The sky above Ryan shimmered with strange colors. The portal that had once taken the human fleet now twisted open once more. This time, it was not red. It was black, darker than space itself. Ryan shielded his eyes as lightning struck the lunar surface. The hybrid creature beside him whispered, "It's here." From the black light came something massive. Not a ship. Not a creature. It was a shape made of shadows and stars, of being so large it seemed to fill the entire sky. Its voice echoed inside Ryan's mind. "You killed my children," it said, calm but thunderous. "You destroyed the Seraphim. But I am the source. I am the one who made them." Ryan fell to his knees. His head felt like it was burning. "What are you?" He shouted. "I am the architect," the voice answered. "I create life and end it." The hybrid creature stepped forward. "He speaks truth," it said softly. The Seraphim were his design's machines, meant to protect the stars. But they turned against him. They spread too far. He lost control. Ryan stared at the shadow in the sky. "You created them, and they destroyed worlds. You made this war." The architect's voice rumbled. "I made perfection. You made chaos. And now you will take their place." Ryan felt a pull inside his chest, like his body was being torn apart. His veins glowed faint blue. The architect was trying to merge with him, trying to use him as the new beginning. The hybrid stepped in front of him, raising its arms. No, humanity is not yours to control. The being unleashed a beam of energy. The hybrid screamed as light tore through its body. It fell beside Ryan, burning but smiling. Finish it. Human, it whispered. You are more than they think. Ryan held its hand until it went still. Then he stood, shaking, eyes full of rage. He looked up at the black sky. You want a new beginning? He shouted. Then I'll show you how humans begin again. He ran toward the wreck of his old fighter jet. Inside the broken cockpit, he found the power core still glowing. It was unstable, ready to explode. He tore it out and attached the beacon from his suit, setting a manual detonation. He turned on his CUM device. If anyone can hear Meath, this is Ryan. The war isn't over. Something worse is coming. I'm going to end it here, Static answered him again. But then, through the noise, came a voice. It was faint, broken, but familiar. Ryan, this is Commander Holt. We made it. Some of us survived. Sarah's sacrifice worked. The fleet is alive. Ryan's heart pounded. Commander, listen to me. There's something else of being called the Architect. It's trying to rebuild the Seraphim using me. I'm going to stop it. Ryan, you can't do this alone, Holt's voice said. Ryan looked at the glowing sky. Humans never fight alone. She taught me that. He climbed out of the wreck, carrying the glowing power core in his arms. The ground shook as the Architect's voice boomed again. You cannot destroy me. I am eternal. Ryan smirked weakly. Then this will hurt forever. He ran straight into the beam of black light. His body glowed brighter and brighter until he was just a blur of blue fire. For a moment, time stopped. He saw Earth in his mind, its oceans, its cities, the faces of people still alive. He saw Sarah's smile. Then he pressed the trigger. The moon exploded in a wave of light so bright it reached Earth's sky. Every telescope, every camera, every person who looked up saw it. A silent flash that turned night into day. When the light faded, the portal was gone. The black shape had vanished. The stars were still again. Weeks later, the survivors of the human fleet returned home. Earth was scarred, but alive. Plants began to grow again, skies cleared, and the fires finally died. Commander Holt led a small team to the lunar surface. There was nothing left, no ships, no aliens, no Ryan. Only a single piece of metal half buried in the dust. It was part of his fighter, marked with 3 words scratched by hand. We invaded back. Holt stood silently, saluting the empty sky. You did it, kid, he said softly. You saved us all. Years passed. Humanity rebuilt. The name Dawnbreaker became legend, a symbol of courage. Children learned about the war, the invasion, and the man who gave everything to end it. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, in the quiet edge of the universe, a single blue light still drifted, small, human, and alive. It pulsed once, like a heartbeat, as if waiting for the next dawn. Because humanity never truly ends. It rises again, every single time.